Let's talk about something really simple, but honestly, kind of life-changing. It's this idea of how you can fix those annoying little problems in your home with just a piece of wood and a bit of your own creativity. We're going to get into minimalist timber crafts, basically big ideas for those small spaces we all have. All right, let's do this.
So, does this sound familiar? You've got a room, maybe a corner in your apartment, and you love it, but there's just one part of it that feels off. It just doesn't quite work, you know? It's awkward or it's empty and it just drives you a little crazy.
Yeah, this is a super common thing we can call the small space problem. It's that feeling, that frustration, when it seems like your own home is actually working against you instead of with you. And look, these challenges are pretty universal, right? We've all got that weird, awkward corner that's basically just a magnet for dust. Or that spot where you think, man, I desperately need a little table right here, but nothing you can buy actually fits. And maybe the biggest one of all, living with that generic furniture that makes your home feel like it could be anybody's, instead of feeling like it's truly yours. This is really the choice we're all looking at. You can go with the mass-produced stuff, and you're kind of stuck with a generic fit. It often feels impersonal, and honestly, it just leads to frustration. But when you craft something yourself, you get a perfect fit. It's made for that exact spot. It becomes deeply personal, and that feeling, it flips from frustration to just pure satisfaction. So what's the answer here? Well, it's something we can call a minimalist wood solution. Now hang on, before your mind jumps to a huge workshop with a million complex tools, let's be really clear. This is a philosophy, not a crazy technical skill. It's all about keeping things simple, beautiful, and most importantly, functional. So what is minimalist timber craft exactly? At its heart, it's just a way of thinking. It's about using the most basic tools you can find, taking a nice piece of natural wood and creating something simple, something functional, and something beautiful that is tailor-made for your space and for what you need. This whole idea really just boils down to 4 core principles. First, simple tools. We're talking a saw, some sandpaper, maybe a drill. That's it. Second, honest materials. A beautiful piece of wood that just gets to be itself. Third, maximum function. The whole point is to solve a real problem. And the last one, the absolute most important ingredient, your personal touch. Okay, let's make this feel a bit more real. We're going to use the most basic project imaginable as our example. A simple shelf. But I want you to think about it differently. Think of it as a little journey. It's the story of how a plain old plank of wood gets transformed into something with a real purpose. And the process itself? It's actually wonderfully simple. First, you measure and you plan. Then you get to the really satisfying part, the cutting and the sanding. And finally, you put it all together. Every single step is deliberate, and you might be surprised at how calming it can feel. Now, please, remember this next part. This might be the most important thing we talk about today. The goal isn't perfection, it's creation. You are not trying to build a flawless, factory-made thing. The real joy, the whole point, is in the act of making it yourself. Because what happens when you're done? Well, it's a genuine transformation. You've gone from a simple piece of wood to a real wow moment. And that doesn't just change your space. It actually starts to change your mindset too. Because once you've put in that time, that little bit of care, and you finally step back to look at what you made, you realize pretty quickly that the result is so much more than just a shelf. It's a small piece of you, made specifically for your home. That piece of wood now has a story baked right into it. It's your story. You saw a problem, you imagined a solution, and then you brought it into the world with your own 2 hands. And this, right here, is the dual payoff. It's like a 2-for-1 deal. On a functional level, hey, you solved a problem. You now have the perfect spot for your books or your keys or that little plant that never really had a home. But on the emotional level, you get something way bigger. That deep, lasting satisfaction that only comes from making something useful and beautiful yourself. So that brings us to the biggest idea of all, which is that now it's your turn to create. This is about so much more than furniture. It's about realizing that you actually have the power to shape the little world right in front of you. You can solve your own problems. And the key takeaway, the one thing to really hold on to, is this. This is not about becoming a master carpenter or buying a bunch of expensive tools. It's about stepping into the role of being a creator, right there in your own home. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Seriously, look around your space right now.
find that one awkward or unused or impersonal spot. What corner of your home is just sitting there, waiting for you to give it a new story?